everyone, I'm Shanti, the artist behind Shanti Finance. Today I'm going to review this 24-piece fabric marker set from Arteza. I'm going to show you how to use this medium, what are the different things you can or cannot do with it. I'm going to share my honest opinions on this medium, and I'm going to show you how I created this cool DIY custom canvas shoe using these markers. So Let's first see what comes with the product. So as you can see, it's a 24-piece fabric marker set. It's permanent and non-toxic. Not that I'm very concerned about the toxicity of paints or anything, because typically art mediums are not necessarily edible, so I don't worry about that so much. This is permanent, like I already mentioned, and there are 24 colors obviously in a 24-piece pack, and each color, it kind of looks like a marker, comes with two ends. So what I mean by that is that there's one of this fine tip end, if you can see, and there is this flat tip end. So this flat tip is for filling out larger areas of color, and the fine tip is for your fine details. So I think that is really, really useful in lots of different ways. So you can use precision, or if you're filling out larger areas, in both ways this work. And this, like I said, they're supposed to be permanent, which is very important for me if I am doing fabric paint, because if it washes off or bleeds, that is probably not a good idea. And it also says that the finished drawing needs to dry for 12 to 24 hours before you use it or wash it. So I guess that is important too. And there is also some fabric care instructions which might be useful as well. Now let's quickly do a test piece. What I'm trying to do here is draw kind of a leaf-like shape and see how it works when I fill it with color. So you see that the fine tip is pretty nice for doing the fine detail thing or drawing it out, and the flat tip is lovely for larger areas, to cover bigger areas and to fill those out. So that's nice. And let's use a different color and see how they blend together. And you see that it blends really nicely, or if you want it to stand out like a border, it does that too. So it totally depends on your choice how much degree of blending you are looking for. You want it nicely evenly blended, or you want some of it to stay. So there's different things that you can do with it. One thing I would like to mention at this point is that these colors will bleed through. It is already mentioned in the package of the fabric markers, and these colors will bleed through. It did not bleed on the other sleeve, but if you turn it around and look underneath, then you will see that the color has bled through on the other side. So what I would suggest is that if you're doing it on a piece of cloth, or on something like this, I'm using a sleeve, I would suggest that you put a piece of cardboard or board or something in it, or even some old newspapers would work too. So I would create a coating or a layer underneath the painting surface so that it does not bleed through on the other side and ruin your t-shirt completely. Now on to my washing results. Now this area is kind of a little inconclusive right now. I'm not sure whether I did it right. So take my comments with a grain of salt, because this is not 100% effective, I think, this part of the review. So what I did is that after I painted this particular flower, I let it dry for about 20 minutes, and then I washed it off. When I let it dry for 20 minutes and then I washed it, you can see that the color has actually faded quite a bit, and it ran out and bled into the surrounding areas. But like I already mentioned, the marker pack says that you have to let the finished drawing dry for 12 to 24 hours. So that is actually something wrong in my part to do. So what I did is I did another little piece of flour, and this I let dry for 12 hours, and then I washed it. Now this one did not bleed on the outer areas and the surrounding areas, but it did fade away. Now, no matter what kind of fabric paint you use, how beautiful quality or the best of the lot, I have used everything that is available, and fabric paint does fade out in course of time. That's the nature of fabric. Even if you use a piece of t-shirt, you will see that you keep on washing and it kind of loses the newness or the brightness. So that is, I don't think that is a big concern because it does fade away a little bit, but once I let it dry for 12 to 24 hours, it actually did not bleed out in the surrounding areas, and that would be my major concern. So my initial test that did not run successful once I let it dry as per the package direction did actually work out. Now, another quick piece of information that I wanted to share. If you see in this area, I tried to put yellow on top of the pink surface, and as you can see that it does not show through. Like, I had to border this area to show where I had put the yellow. There is some yellow here too, but you cannot see it. So the lighter color actually does not show up on dark color. So if I have a black t-shirt and I try to paint it with yellow or any other color for that matter, it would actually not show up. So you have to go from lighter to darker, so probably a lighter color t-shirt or whatever surface you're working on would work. And this particular product works on various different kinds of surfaces. You can paint backpacks, sweatshirts, shoes. I'm going to do a canvas shoe today in shortly, and that I think is wonderful as well. The products come in a variety of various different colors. There are grays, mauves, blues, pinks, reds, black, and very nice shades as well. The colors are bright as well as a nice and like natural colors and not like really like marker colors, and that's awesome. But what I'm missing is a white, because I often like to incorporate white in my paints, but once again, the lighter colors will not show on top of dark colors, so layering is not really possible if you go from dark to light. So I guess that's why they did not put an white paint on it, and I tend to like to use white when I'm painting on fabric. So that's one thing that is negative about this paint, these products. And they're pretty inexpensive. This 24-piece set I think costs about $20 or something. I will link that in the video description below, so check that out about the price and all. And so that's pretty inexpensive for art and craft projects as well. These would be great for school projects. Now on to the actual shoe that I'm going to paint. This is an old canvas shoe. After wearing it a few times because of the very light color, it actually got discolored a little bit. So it's not dirty, but it looks very dirty. If you understand it, it has discolored at places, and there is no way I can wear this without doing something to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint on this using these fabric markers today and demonstrate how you can make your own custom DIY canvas shoes.
I'm starting off by blocking in the entire surface of the canvas shoe with various random shapes. Some of them are geometric shapes with straight edges. Some of them are just random mandala-like looking shapes. There is no rhyme or reason of what shape I'm putting where or what designs I'm putting inside. When I'm drawing the shapes, or rather the blocks, bigger blocks, then I'm using the fine tip side of the pens. However, when I'm filling in bigger areas inside the blocks, like say a band of color and all, then I am using the more flatter, broader tip of the pens, because then you're looking for coverage. If you're looking for fine edge, then use a fine tip. If you're looking for coverage, then use the fat tip. Simple. And I'm using one shade of purple and 3 different shades of blue to do this, but you can use whatever color you want. You can use whatever designs you want. You can paint the whole thing in solid colors, or just strips and bands of different colors, 2 colors, 3 colors, whatever you want pleases. And there we have the final shoes. I hope you enjoyed this little demo.